And live stream. Hang in there with me, Leo.
Going anywhere but right here.
Oh, I got some water over here. Good job. Good job. Video on the video's private. I don't want it private. Okay. Because I'm in the wrong channel. No, I want the other channel. I need to switch accounts. Go here. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Now go to my channel and go live. Live. Okay, I'm live. Good. So this is all the way up. Okay. Yeah. All right. Go here. All right. Running alchemy. Oh, a lot of work, huh? But it's worth it. I love serving the people.
Me too.
I know you do. I so know you do. Alchemy.
And you see me well?
Yes, I can. And you have light coming on it back there. It
Yeah,
looks
it's over
good.
me. So I'm
Oh,
just,
okay.
it's on the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want
Event.
to make sure everybody could see. I'm gonna be ready next time with some aesthetics.
Okay, yeah. I have some more. I'm actually going to be doing my podcast in a building and stuff, but I just wanted to get my first one out.
Yes.
Start live. No, I don't want to go live. Invite. Oh, shoot. Meet us. Okay. Here we go. We are live on YouTube. Join me and join Tracy, Sacred CEO, and Lillian Brown. Ooh, we had a good conversation yesterday, honey.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again today.
There's what? Join us live here. All right. Okay. You go to my page on my page and tag you in case the people want to get in there. Yeah. Oh shoot. Start. Okay, so I have to start up about 5 minutes earlier. Get this right. Tag you. Okay. There we go. I wanted to tag you in it so your people know you.
Okay.
Tag my peoples.
I just put it on Facebook last night.
I seen. I
Yeah.
liked it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I tagged you so you could have access.
That's what I figured.
And then I sent it to in the email.
Okay. I saw the two emails.
hmm And let me go to Facebook. Here we go. Okay, one more. Which Okay. Ready to get started, Lil?
Ready?
All right. Start recording. All right. Okay, let's go. All right, everything good? Okay, put this here like this. We are going to the gallery. Yes. Okay, great. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Feminine Alchemy, the podcast. I am your host, Tracy Bryant, also known as Tracy the Sacred CEO. And Feminine Alchemy is a show that is dedicated to the evolution of women who are seasoned and savvy in over 40. And this episode of Feminine Alchemy, we ask the question, where is my libido? Where is my libido? What has happened? It's either increased after 40 or it has decreased after 40, okay? We have situations of perimenopause, we have situations of menopause, and then we also have other factors such as medications. Also, we have sometimes some disassociation due to past traumas. But we're going to get into that tonight because we're going to be discussing the concerns of the increase and the decrease of sexual energy as women mature in age. And today we are joined by my good friend, women's health nurse practitioner, Lillian Browning. She not only specializes in women's health, but she is also a specialist in the health of the mature woman over 40. So we're about to get in it. How you doing, Lillian?
I'm doing awesome. Hello, everyone. So excited to be here and excited to share whatever knowledge I can with each one of you.
Good, good. Thank you, thank you. So tell us a little bit about how you got into women's health and why did that become a passion for you?
Actually, it was surviving a divorce. I
Mm,
promised God that if He allowed me and my children to survive the pain and the trauma, that I would devote my life to the care of women and helping other women to be empowered and be healthy.
wow. Okay. So it came after something, and people need to know that sometimes we have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? We all, because we don't necessarily know how it's going to happen, we automatically think when we get into a challenging situation that it's not going to happen. But you have to have some faith, some courage, and be a little crazy. You got to be a little crazy in
Just a
order to
little
get
bit.
to the other side. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So let's go right into it. Libido after 40, libido over 40. First off, what I'm noticing, Lil, is that women are experiencing perimenopause earlier. At one point, we was experiencing perimenopause around close up to 50. Women are beginning to experience perimenopause in their early 40s now. What do you think is contributing to that?
Well, I think that it goes part and parcel in young girls experiencing menarche very early, meaning their breast buds are growing, they're having their first menstrual cycle very early. We used to call it precocious puberty. And what we've linked it to actually is what we eat. There are so many different chemicals in the food that we eat. Sometimes you can watch some of those Netflix programs like, I don't know, I ate the whole thing. I don't know, just, high on the hog.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see that we're eating more and more processed foods, more and more sugars, not natural sugars, processed sugars. Those are allowing young girls to have menstrual cycles earlier. So what happens? Then we have menopause earlier. Because one thing that's kind of stays constant, and that's the body's time clock, is trying to do what it's supposed to do. So it's giving you X number of years to be having a menstrual cycle. So if you started at 8, then you're going to end up stopping, or the body will try to stop in your early 40s.
Wow. And I know personally, I started my menstruation right at coming up into the 11-year mark. I was still in the area of 10, but I was coming up on the 11-year mark. So I did start rather early, you know. But I find something concerning and interesting is that we go from menstruation to menopause. And both of the experiences are similar in body changes and not being prepared,
Yes,
not being prepared.
yes. I have to give that an amen.
Yes.
We've done a better job in preparing younger girls for menstruation when, we have the schools that will talk about health and hygiene and PE. So they're kind of knowing, and the internet is amazing, with especially our younger kids. So they're kind of hearing about menstruation. But what remains still a bit in the closet is the end of life, the end of menstrual life, and that is menopause. Okay, and I would love to just kind of address it from a personal standpoint. I am a healthcare provider and I take care of women and have been doing so since 1992. And I shared this with you, but I want to illustrate to the people that are listening how it doesn't matter what you know. Your body is yours, so you're experiencing this uniquely outside of the intellectual realm. When I was about 46, maybe, I rented an apartment and I was the first one in it. And it was, just so nice. But there was this odd thing that happened about 3 a.m. every morning. The air conditioner stopped working. And, this happened like for a couple of weeks. And I said, you know what? I need to go downstairs and tell these people that there's something wrong with the air conditioning unit. And I'd like to make this really funny, but the truth of the matter is, I was experiencing perimenopause. I was having hot
Oh,
flash.
wow.
And it didn't even dawn on me that something could be going on with my 46-year-old body. It was had to be something external. Okay. So my goal is to educate women on the subtle signs and kind of understanding what to do when you start getting those subtle signs. The very first thing you do is embrace it because we're lucky to be here
Mm.
experiencing this. There are many of my comrades who are no longer here. So if you're experiencing this, it's a beautiful thing. Embrace it. Um, a dear friend of mine said this many years ago, and I want to share it with y'all. She said, the ability for a woman to bring forth life, to carry life inside of her womb is profound. Something equally profound has to happen to turn it on.
Okay. Okay. So let's get into what are some of the symptoms of perimenopause because I know some of our sisters may be experiencing it and don't necessarily know how to recognize or identify with that. So can you give us a little bit about what are the symptoms besides hot flashes? Because that's the only
Yeah,
one
I
we
was gonna
start hearing.
say,
We
and,
always
and
get the hot flash.
right, right. But it's really important to understand that we don't know what a hot flash is
It
until
is
we've gone
personal.
through a few of
But it's
them.
also hot flashes are personal. Some people feel them from the outside. Some people get them all the way down from their feet on up. Some people start in their hands. Some people start in their head. But honey, these hot flashes are personal. Menopause and perimenopause is very personal.
Correct. So, like for instance, with me, I was completely asleep, waking up, how does all get out? So when you start noticing subtle changes, especially something that happens fairly periodic, so you say how often, maybe once, twice a day, but you notice a change, be aware, especially if you're in your 40s, absolutely if you're in your 50s, what is going on with my body? The
Mm.
other thing that can happen that people don't talk about is losing words or brain fog. And it happens as soon, really kind of early in your 40s. you look for a word, you're having this awesome conversation and you want to be articulate and impress, and boom, you can't think of the word. Okay, that's brain fog. That is not dementia. That is not signs of Alzheimer's. That is perimenopause going into menopause. Another thing that some women may notice is a shift in their fat distribution in their bodies. You probably had those jeans that was popping in the back where you wanted it to. And all of a sudden it's popping in the front where you don't want it to. And because we start redistributing our weight. Another thing is breast size. Although someday me and the divine will have a conversation, because I don't know why we need to have them grow to the extent they do in menopause, but you'll start noticing your breasts become larger
And do they also get
and
more tender? Because I
tender,
noticed mine was a lot more tender.
tender, and larger. And that's that redistribution of fat. So those are kind of some subtle signs that something is changing. And the other thing is mood swings, and you may not be aware of it, but people who are close to you are. Things that used to be just easy breezy, roll off your back like water off a duck's back. All of a sudden, you are all in their face. You are irritated. You're taking it to the nth level. That's mood swings. Then, they come in the next day and you're happy as a lark. Let's go to nature. Let's go walk in the park. And they think you lost your mind. They used to call it especially when a woman um, ovaries completely stopped, they would say she was hysterical. That's where the word hysterectomy came from,
Yes.
okay? Because our mood swings occur. Listen to the people that are closest to you that you know are all about you. When they start saying, you're getting a little more agitated than usual, that may be a symptom that you're working around this menopause. Those are the ones that comes to my head very, very quickly. Um, I'm open to questions though.
Okay. So what about some hormonal and emotional changes that a woman can expect to experience?
All of the things I just said were a consequence of hormones.
Okay.
Okay. All of those changes are because the balances of our estrogen,
Hmm.
progesterone, testosterone are shifting.
Okay.
Okay. And when I talked about the redistribution of the um, fat, particularly the front fat, we call it um, mid abdominal obesity, therein is the estrogen that's going to take us through the rest of our lives once we get to menopause, and that's called estrone.
Hmm.
Estrone, unfortunately, though it carries us on, it's not like its sister estradiol. Okay, it can be a part of these mood swings and this weight distribution and losing some of our testosterone. Yes, women do have testosterone. Losing some of our testosterone causes us to lose some of our sharpness, our mental sharpness. And it's all hormonal, every part of it, Tracy. So the emotions behind it, some of them are almost out of our control
Yes.
because they are so linked to this up and down of our hormones. And we feel like, we're going crazy. Some people will feel like they're having depression. Some people will feel that they're having anxiety. Some people feel that they're having panic attacks. Okay. This is a part of the process. It can be shortened once you identify what it is. When you don't know what it is and you don't know how to seek the proper help for it. But once you start seeing that this is kind of a cluster of events, then your providers can help with that. Healthcare providers can help with doing blood tests, identifying if there's a high or low. Probably the hardest thing is perimenopause because you are still going to have your levels within normal. So if
Yes.
you go to your provider, they'll say, you're good. all your hormones are okay, and you're looking at them like, I am so not good. Um, Let me explain why it's in that normal. Our hormone range is huge, okay? From one level to another level. Right now, I can't just quote the levels, but it is huge. Let's say that your level was, I don't know, 20. That was where you were rocking and rolling, rocking and rolling. But now it's 25 and the range is 0 to 100. Okay. So you're still in that normal range, but you were doing better at a 20 and now you're at a 25. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and there's no way for us, and I used to have people ask me this, well, can't you test me when I'm younger? No, because it also is fluctuated by our environment, our moods, our diet. So there's so many things, but there's still this unique range for you. And when you go outside of that, that's when you start experiencing all of these different kinds of changes, but it's still within the normal range. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. But in one of the reasons I clearly asked that question, honey, was because I know when I was going through my menopause state, perimenopause, and I was just so fortunate to have, excuse me, a women's health doctor, OBGYN, who's also a medical doctor, but she deals strictly with older women dealing with their hormones. She provides hormone replacement therapy. And I
Right.
can remember in 2021, 2022, and I'm expressing to her how, I was ready to leave my marriage and I was ready to give everything all up. I was ready just to go on and go take a backpack and trek in Africa somewhere, mountains. I was just ready to go, right? And she said, hold up. Before you do anything, I need you to give it 90 days because you just right now you're having your mood swings. You're coming into your menopausal state, and one day you may feel like everything's okay, and the next day things could be heightened for you. I need you to just relax. Do not make any moves until 90 days. And then after 90 days, once this hormones get, back in balance and homeostasis, once we have you right, then you make a decision. She said, can you promise me that? I never associated my irritability, my depression, my anxiety, and all of these different emotional changes with perimenopause or menopause. I never associated the two, even though I was definitely having menstrual changes. So I was having a menstruation probably every 4 months. And then some days, some 1 week it'd be light, and then it'd be 4 months later, it'd be really, really heavy. So my body was going through these changes, but I never associated the emotional imbalance and the irritability with my change coming. I never associated that. So I'm so glad that we cleared that up and we were able to share this information, because I'm sure so many of our sisters over 40 and 50, they're having these hormonal changes, they're having these emotional, breakdowns, and they're trying to figure out, I don't know why I'm so sensitive, and all of this. And it definitely has to do with this change coming.
And it's a change in the ratios. Okay. In the, one is probably a little higher than it used to be, the other one's a little lower. And that's our bodies are so sensitive. We're sensitive enough that we start reacting. And you brought up a good point, and that is, what does the menstrual period look like?
Mm-hmm.
For some women, no changes. For other women like yourself, suddenly you start skipping periods. But
Yes.
most of the time, the periods for some reason get heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I have women come in and they say, "Man, I feel like I'm bleeding my life away." Okay, again, it's hormonal. The that estrone is on its way. Okay, the estradiol, which is our friend, it's still there. Now you've got a surplus of estrogen building up this real thick lining. It comes out heavy,
Yes.
heavy, heavy period. And I do tell everyone, when you have a heavy period like that, go to your healthcare provider and at least get a quality of life adjustment so you're not feeling like you're bleeding all the time. But yes, breast changes, tenderness, and more toward the end, like when you're in your maybe third, fourth year of menopause and perimenopause, really deep into it is when the breasts start getting larger. But mostly you will notice that period. And thank you for that, because a lot of my ladies are bleeding, bleeding, bleeding.
Mhm.
And that's one of the signs something
It scared me.
going on,
It scared me. I
hormone.
was not ready, but I'm glad I had her. I'm glad I was, seeing her often enough to where she was helping me to transition and
Yes,
giving me information to help me
yes,
transition. And that's the part about going to see a provider because you need the information to help you transition.
you do.
Yeah,
And it's we tend, especially as women, we're taking care of everybody, right? We're taking care of our significant others. We're probably taking care of aging parents. We're taking care of sometimes adult children. We're taking care of grandchildren and even great grandchildren. We're, just taking care of our friends, and we put us on the back burner. And by the time we show up, we're in pretty rough shape. So what you're saying is yes, make a relationship with a female healthcare provider, not female in the sense of she's female, but a healthcare provider that specializes in the
female health.
female
Mhm.
early on. They're not just for delivering babies and birth control. Okay. They can come with you throughout the lifestyle. And as a women's healthcare nurse practitioner, we know where that's not our range, right? Not our realm. You break a bone, don't come to me. Go to the orthopedic doc. Okay.
Right.
If you have diabetes, okay, and you need that managed, you go to your primary care. But let's say you're doing good. Once a year, check in with your female healthcare provider, okay? The one that provides health to the female. Because you may say something in just conversation and that provider goes, oh, wait a minute. That's a piece of a puzzle that fits with another piece that you mentioned. And this is what might be going on. Most of us, the first thing we get is what you said, those mood swings. We go in and we're like, why am I being a beast? Or why am I so sensitive? Or why am I having this brain fog?
Mm.
And usually that conversation will help you to see that you're probably heading toward perimenopause, menopause. And just so you guys know, it's really a good thing. And I'll say this over and over again, we are blessed to be here, to be experiencing this. And along with this comes so much wisdom,
Mm.
so very much. We have to go this far in order to get to the place of wisdom and cherish it. You got so many people that are reaching out now, Tracy, myself, to talk about it and do talk about it. Not just, with your family, talk about it with your healthcare provider so that you can embrace this time as opposed to find it somehow devalued.
Yeah, I say these are our wisdom years, and we need to
Yes,
honor them as such. And
yes,
with wisdom, of course, there's going to be change. Change is going to happen. And something that I learned about the three different types of estrogen. So then you have estrogen when you're in your younger years, in your maiden state. Then you have estrol when you're in your lady woman state. But then as you come into your mature, savvy, seasoned era, your wisdom years, you have estradiol. So
it's
I
true.
it's strong, yes. So I was like, wow, I see how you could have the maiden, the lady in the crown, they're all met with
Yes,
different levels of estrogen, and I thought that was just so fascinating. So we are in
yes,
our wisdom years, ladies, and we need to embrace that, and we're going to get
yes.
into embracing that as well. But I want to speak a little bit about how our confidence can be affected
Mm.
when we are experiencing perimenopause and menopause. I know for me, my confidence was affected. One of the ways my confidence was affected was with the brain fog. I wasn't as sharp as I was before. I had these moments, like you said, you have these moments of forgetfulness. It's just like, why can't I think about what it is I need to do right now? I just had it. Or you might drive and you would miss the exit all the way. Like, you 5 exits up. I've done that so many times. Like, I'm 5 exits up. And it's like, well, where am I going? These type of things happen. And I think it really affects our confidence if we're not well informed.
Absolutely. Um, in our world, beauty is defined a certain way. And about the time we get into our late 40s, we are not considered the pick of the crop
Pick it up. Yeah. Yeah.
or the pick of the litter.
Yeah.
And already we are kind of struggling with that societal wise. Then you march into your 50s and you start getting these body changes.
Mm-hmm.
Some women, they work out, work out, work out, and they're always trying to get this one thing that, they need to get back in shape. And some are successful, most are not. Most of us, we continue having these body changes. Um, I guess in my late 50s, early 60s, I remember looking in the mirror one day and I was like, I don't know who that is looking back at me. And that is part of the confidence. Also, in the workplace, the more seasoned and mature woman, unless she is the boss, but if she is a worker, she's like secondary. And her thoughts are not as accepted. Her feedback is kind of pushed aside. Now, this is the woman with the wisdom, right?
Come
Our
on.
society does not see that. Our society sees her as superfluous. She's just here. It's the new college graduate that has the knowledge. Okay, so it starts really decreasing your self confidence that okay, nobody sees me as valuable. I look in the mirror, I'm not looking as cute as I used to. Um, I'm forgetting words. I'm forgetting, like she said, driving and passing up the exit. All of those things work with on our self confidence. That's why it's important to listen to podcasts like Miss Tracy's doing today. That's why it's important to talk to your healthcare provider because actually you're about to enter an awesome zone. You said this in the beginning. Sometimes before we get to the higher level, we have to go through some stuff. So the perimenopause and the early days of menopause is going through that stuff. And once you make it through it, you see that all of those things you thought are not so.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to kind of change, though, people's idea of beauty. And Ms. Tracy said something yesterday when we were talking. She said, we called young people pretty,
Mm-hmm.
but we call the seasoned woman beautiful. I have seen women in their 80s sitting down, just kind of talking to each other, and I see her beauty radiating. But that also comes from accepting. We talked about confidence. The first thing you do is look in the mirror and do like Mary J says, "Good morning, gorgeous." And you say it enough, you start radiating that. And you will be told it back. People will say, "Man, you look good." You know, thank you for the compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But the first person that has to love you and accept you is you. Knowledge is power. That's why you listen, you learn, you share to those people who didn't get to make it here today. Share it. You're really okay. You lost that word. You don't have Alzheimer's. You don't have dementia. I'm
Yeah.
going through. And what happens, you said, well, what happens? I still lose them. I've just become very clever at how to work around it. Okay. And sometimes hormonal therapy can sharpen you up too.
Mm-hmm.
Whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So let's talk about how age can heighten your sexual sensations. For those of us who have hit 50 and up, I personally know that my sexual sensations increased, particularly because of the accepting my body,
That
accepting, yes, just that acceptance of 50, being not being readily available for bullshit.
right.
Just not wanting to deal with it all, having really clear boundaries. These things help to raise my sexuality in a way where it really felt more pleasurable. I wasn't rushing to have an orgasm. That part too. You know what I'm saying? We're younger, we rushing to have this orgasm. They rushing to get a nut. All these things. No, I'm accepting of my stomach. I'm accepting of my C-section. I'm accepting of the cellulite. I say the cellulite is my dimples, everything smiling on my body. That's what I say. I say, baby, everything just smiling. That's why them dimples is there.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but let's talk a little bit about how some women may have a decrease because of the dryness, and because of the estrogen loss and things of that nature, and that will definitely cause a woman to decrease in, her sexual, energy. But that wasn't necessarily the case for me, and I want to talk a little bit about both
Mhm.
parallels. Okay, so let's talk about enhancement.
Yeah. Enhancement, meaning that it's going up.
Yes.
You really answered it. It's self-acceptance. Sometimes your whoever your partner is making you feel beautiful, even though the world is not. But
Mm,
more than anything, it's how you see yourself. And we're not trying to get pregnant. We're not scared of getting pregnant.
yes.
We're not doing anything but trying to enjoy this. Sometimes we're trying to pleasure someone else, but when you embrace you, it's about you. And you're enjoying those different levels of pleasure. Orgasm is one, but being touched, being
Mm-hmm.
gently stroked, being kissed, being hugged, being held. We're not about that busy business anymore. We kind of slowed down a little bit and we're savoring the experiences that we're having, which can lead to an amazing orgasm. But I want to address another thing. There are many women who are silent about the fact they have never experienced an orgasm.
Over half,
And
the statistics are over half of women have never experienced an orgasm. And Betty Dodson, she's a feminist, older lady. I think you probably are aware of Betty Dodson. If you guys aren't aware, she has this workshop where she has women, and she's well in her 70s now, still doing the same thing. I shared Viceland TV with her when we had our episode. And she is revolutionary, not just in the women's revolution, but in the sexual revolution. And she's been having these workshops for years where she have women come and literally come to this workshop to come. Yeah. Like, and I just think that's so revolutionary. A lot of people will look at it and be like, oh, that's nasty. No, it's not. If a woman has never experienced that type of pleasure, and for her to find that type of freedom and someone to coach her along with her own self pleasure. It's nobody else bringing her pleasure but herself.
But herself.
And that part is so important for us as women in every area of our lives. We have to know and learn how to bring ourselves pleasure in every area, not just
I
the
agree.
sexual area, you know? So I just found that to be interesting that over half of women have not, excuse me, experienced orgasm. I've known ladies that are 70 that they figured they pushed out the children and they just allowed their husband to do his their business on them, like they said in The Color Purple. He did his business on me, you know, and that's it. They've never connected with the pleasure, and a lot of that has to do with they had, you know, it's unfortunate, but they had a mate that wasn't that wasn't that the woman's pleasure wasn't even important for them. That's what they did.
Right.
They came just to do the business on, you know. So you brought up something that just really, as you could tell, just really touched me, and I really went in on
Right.
women not being able to have an orgasm. So, honey, I do promote self pleasure. We're gonna have a whole topic on that too at some point. That's gonna
Yes.
be part of the podcast show. Go ahead, Leah.
Right. But again, we were talking about the confidence thing that also plays into confidence because we hear fake it, we hear let him do his
Mm-hmm.
business, it's all about pleasure in this man, and somehow our pleasure is looked at as not valuable. So it is valuable, and I want to um, um, make that point. I am so sorry. I have a deaf dog, and he is visiting right now, and I can't
Okay.
yell at him because it wouldn't do any good. So if you hear the shuffle in the background, I apologize. But again, going to self pleasuring, going to orgasm, when we're talking about orgasm, women are saying, what is that? You're not alone. You're not broken. You just need to learn or be taught how to achieve that. And even the men, many men, particularly our age men, 50 plus, many men weren't taught to consider us, okay? Or to consider that, we should have an orgasm. Or we faked it, so they thought we were, right? So that is another area that can affect our confidence is
Mm.
when we don't feel that we've experienced the fullness of our femininity. And just hold on, I know that our goddess Tracy is going to come up with something that we can all benefit those who have had orgasms, those who have not. There's a self love in that, even with a partner, that is important for us to fully experience our whole feminine journey here.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the perimenopausal state, menopausal state, many women also decrease in sexual desire as well as their sexual libido. So can we speak a little bit on that, on how on some, you know, things that cause a woman
Yeah.
to decrease in their sexual desire?
Well, because of those same hormonal changes, we start having different levels of lubrication, and sex can become straight up painful. So the desire to do that is not there. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let him take care of his business. I'm gonna do what I can, but you know, please don't come back for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, to ask
Maybe
for
even a
this. So
month.
again, a month. So it has to do with that little fine tuning. Because remember, if you're perimenopausal, you're still in the normal zone,
Mhm.
but you're experiencing these things because where you are may not be normal for you, may not have been optimal for you. Other things that can bring down the libido is straight up stress,
Ooh,
life.
that's a big one.
Yeah, it is. You're trying to pay the bills, or you're dealing with children, adult children, which is almost more difficult because we cannot do their journey for them, right? We have to just love them through. So we're looking at at that. Stress is real, and stress can kill,
Mm.
and it certainly can kill a libido. So that's another thing that is happening. When you get a little further, closer to menopause, the actual vaginal area near the rectum, this little area between the rectum and the entrance to the vagina, the urethra where we urinate from, all of that is affected by our hormonal levels. And all of that can get thin, 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 thin. And
Okay.
you're having just discomfort. You can't hold your urine like you used to. So you're like, I don't want this, this sex thing. So that's part of what can bring it down. Straight up relationships can bring your libido down. You've been with your partner X number of years. If it's been wonderful, you guys probably have a rhythm, a sexual rhythm that works for you. But if it was not a great relationship, you stayed for the kids, you stayed for, excuse me, the financial security or whatever. Suddenly, maybe it's because those hormones are shifting, you really don't want to deal with that anymore. And that person isn't arousing to you. And when
Right.
that person isn't arousing to you, you can't bring that libido up. I don't care what you do. You
Whew.
just don't want to be with them in that way. It isn't you, it's the situation. It may not even be him, but it's the situation that the two of you had together. And this is
This is what it's come to.
not right. You're not feeling amorous eros. You're not feeling that eros
That
with that
sexiness,
person.
that
The
fire,
sexiness,
that
yeah,
fire.
that
Yes.
excitement, that those little butterflies that you saw in those, first years of your lives together. So that can bring down your libido as well. Sometimes your libido can be affected by your diet. Um,
Oftentimes,
yeah,
often. I always say that
often
the first level of healing or your first level of really checking in with yourself, you always need to go back to diet. Food is medicine.
it is. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's one of the most difficult things to correct, because we fall into a way of being, and we are marketed to become addicted to things that aren't healthiest for us. If you begin to eat healthier, sometimes the libido comes up with that because you're feeling healthier, you are healthier, your body is more, it has the nutrients it needs. So because it has all that, then you're more lubricated or whatever. Sex is no longer as painful. So what we eat, like you said, food is medicine. What we eat often can be a player in that libido, and what we eat we know can affect those curves.
Mm.
So
But
if you're
I
looking at your
recognize too when we eat more live foods, more raw foods, more fruit juices, more organic foods, less flesh, more whole grains. I notice my energy level goes up. So, of course, if your energy level goes up, then your sexual libido will also, increase.
yes, and you brought up another point, because as we're talking, looking at symptoms, that's another symptom. You're just tired, just plain tired.
Just overwhelmed, stressed, and tired. Yeah, that will decrease the libido. So pay attention,
It
ladies.
will.
Pay attention to your stress levels. Pay attention to your anxiety levels, right? And oftentimes, as Black women, we have associated depression with being tired, right? We think we're tired all the time, and we have not identified and associated we are experiencing downright depression. So we have to start really checking in with our bodies and start scanning. Like, each morning I have this ritual where I scan my body, and I go from my toes all the way up to my head, and I ask my every limb in body part, how are you this morning? Like I have this whole conversation with my body before I get out of the bed. I go to my toes, my legs. How are you, toes? You feeling good? My legs feeling good this morning. Oh, my joints, my knees. You gonna do well today, huh? Like I just have this whole conversation. But that's me revolutionizing my relationship with my body, especially coming into these wisdom years.
Yes, in these wisdom years. And sometimes, though, our hormonal imbalance leads to the fatigue. Sometimes,
Right.
some women, especially those of us of African descent, we like food and we like food prepared a certain kind of way. And we've done it for years and years and years that way. And now we may be struggling with elevated blood sugars, which will make you tired.
High
So,
blood pressure.
again, check in with your healthcare provider. Most for me, I will screen for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And once I find out what's going on with that woman, then I'll send her to a resource. And
Okay.
all providers are that way. So check in with them once a year. Look at what is going on, blood pressure, blood sugar, just your chemistry, makeup, your blood cell count, because some of those things can lead to fatigue. Your thyroid,
Mm,
those
yes.
things can lead to fatigue. And and I love what God has said. You know, we think we're tired, we just said.
Yeah. Yeah. Or grieving too. A lot of times we haven't associated with grief. We've had loss in our life. We've made, it doesn't necessarily have to be a friend or a family member. It could be the loss of a job. It could be the loss of something that you've been really attached to that was a part of your identity. Marriage, life after divorce. That's a definite confidence, shifter there, So, and we'll get into that on another podcast. But I
Right.
want to go in the next 5 minutes and just discuss how can we embrace this stage of life? How can we truly embrace it? Because I truly feel like in order for us to really experience, in order to really have a beautiful experience and a beautiful transition, that we have to own it, accept it, and this is the only way we are going to be able to experience joy in it.
I agree.
So what are some of
Yeah.
your views on that, Lily?
We've talked about embracing. So how do you do that?
Right.
You embrace it once you love you and you've accepted you and the flaws, for some people it's the gray hairs, for me it's the less hairs. Okay. That's me. And I love me. And another thing is to forgive me. I forgive me for what I didn't do because I didn't know to do it. And when you forgive you, you can then accept you and you can embrace you. So those are some of the things that some of
Mm,
the words that come to my mind, but what are some of the actions? I compare prayer and meditation almost synonymous because we're in a quiet place. It's just us and our divine creator, maker, God, Elohim, whatever word that you choose for that power that is greater than yourself. When you take 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes, and just spend time, you start developing that self-love and surround yourself with people who make you feel good.
mm,
That's how you learn to start loving yourself. That sometimes we can divorce the ones that don't, but sometimes there are children, our parents. Can't get rid of them. So you limit your time with that person. Do what you have to do. And then you go and be around those people who feed you positively. I'm not talking about the one that's telling you all this yada yada, boosting your ego. No, the ones that It don't matter what you look like.
Come on.
No matter what you say, you know that that person got you in one
Oh,
way or another. They love you in spite of. That's how you begin to embrace yourself. And the hardest thing in the world is to look in the mirror and tell that lady looking back at you, I love you. You're gorgeous. You're all that. And I forgive you for what you didn't know you didn't know.
yeah.
Because most of us, once we know better, we do better. Very few people are out here just trying to mess up. We're really trying to get it right. So you forgive you. And those are some ways that you can embrace yourself. Let's say that it's truly a physical. You go to a provider and you may need hormonal replacement therapy. You may need your blood sugar checked, especially those of us who are in menopause. Hormonal replacement therapy can be extremely valuable. However, after the age of 60, you're going to have a little difficulty getting someone to give it to you. And about a week ago, as well as recently with the goddess before us, Miss Tracy, I found out more about the pellets. I've been hearing about them
Mm,
all my life, well, adult
yes.
life, professional life. I've been hearing about them, and I see the women; they look real good. Well, all of those women have had counseling, and that hormonal therapy has been fine tuned to the needs of that person. You can't pull it off a shelf and take hers. It is fine tuned to her. Look into it. I
Mm-hmm.
was very curious because I'm almost 68. And I was like, well,
Did y'all hear that?
I'm
Wait, wait. Don't, you
plastic.
just can't run past that. Hold up. Hold up. Did y'all hear that? Almost 68. Just beautiful. Beautiful and owning all her wisdom. Go right ahead.
Thank you. But
Yes.
again, I'm finding out that the hormonal replacement therapy, there is some for us. Those of
Yes.
us that have jumped over that 65, that 60, there is some for us. So, but it's important to go to your healthcare provider because it's not only about estrogen. Remember, I named a few others. It's
Yes.
about the progesterone. It's about the testosterone. It's about your thyroid. It's
Mm-hmm.
about your, on top of your kidneys are these little organs called adrenals. It's about
Adrenal gland.
those.
Yes.
So go to that healthcare provider. And it's not just, pellets that are for hormones. They even have some of them that contain vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sustained over a long period of time. And no, I do not have any stocks in any of these. This is just data to let you know that there are answers for us.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, I'm personally receiving hormone replacement therapy. And I do the pellets. And it's all natural pellet and it actually mimics my own chemicals, my own hormones. So that was one of the major reasons why I even accepted that form of consideration when dealing with menopause and dealing with the change, is because it mimics, because you, like you said, it's just, it's specialized exactly for your body and your body type, so it mimics my actual hormones, right? And I have to say, it is the best health choice and investment that I have made it at this stage of my life. I'm a lot happier. I'm not having mood swings. I'm actually of course, menstruation is decreased, but I can feel my energy levels are higher, my confidence level is higher, my sexual levels are higher. You know, I had someone want to call the doctor that I'm doing hormone replacement with, and tell her, wait a minute, what is you doing? You breaking people up, because this she off the charts over here. I'm not, because he wasn't as sexually, involved and he didn't have that sexual stimulation like I did. So he like, well, what's going on with you? You're wet. I'm wetter. Just a whole,
Yeah.
just a whole array of things. And I just want to, I am a firm believer in hormone replacement therapy, but most definitely get it specialized to fit your needs. And once
And
again,
it's
like you
important
said,
that, well, it's important that I also say there are those who cannot.
yes, there are
So,
too much
and
estrogen.
if you can't, and if you cannot, there are still conversations to be had with your
Mm-hmm.
healthcare provider to optimize your femininity. There are things that are not non hormonal that can assist in lubrication, that can assist in that energy, that can assist in uh, decreasing that mood swing, depression. Have the
Yes.
conversation because, especially people my age, hormone replacement therapy was a big deal. Then we heard of fallout. We heard that, people were dying from taking these hormones. So
Mm-hmm.
people started backpedaling. Well, we know that estrogen makes women feel good, but not synthetic estrogen
Right.
necessarily. It has to be possibly plant based, something that is more naturally occurring, but that's between you and your physician. If you have a physical process going on that contraindicates that, you know, there are other things. But for those of you who are entering into menopause that are a year, 2 years into menopause, hormone replacement therapy may be your friend. And I've just seen just beautiful women over the years. So the question is, Miss Browning, did you do it? For me, my family history is very high in cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very hesitant and did not. Um, I tried it, I really did, but I had, some peculiar responses to it. And I think it was out of fear as opposed to truly what was happening with the hormone. So I didn't. I was blessed that I was able to carry into my 60s, late 60s without it. And then I had to take my ovaries out. And I found out something. Our ovaries have value until we leave this earth.
Mm.
Because with the removal of them, I started experiencing perimenopause or menopausal symptoms that I had let go of. So now I'm thankful for all of the technology, the research, and I'm going to look into some forms. But at our age, those of us 60 plus, it can be not beneficial for us to be on it. So talk to your healthcare provider and see if you can't be on those pellets, the hormone replacement, the bioidenticals, what other options are there? And there are options. If that person don't know, you go to the next one till you find one that is willing to talk to you. And sexuality is desirable. Sensuality is desirable because you're 60, 70 doesn't mean that you can't be sensuous. It's not a sin. Okay.
I
It
love
is
that.
part of our human experience. I'm not saying that you go out gallivanting out there and being loose. I'm saying that you embrace the fact that this body that we were given was meant to last us till we leave. And all of the things that we experience with it, okay, we're not bad women.
Including the pleasure.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The pleasure. It is good. We didn't create these avatars. The creator did. The creator created us to enjoy these bodies appropriately, yes. But because you turn 60, don't mean turn it off and throw the key away. So talk to your providers. And if you have a provider that doesn't know or doesn't care to have the conversation, keep it moving
And keep
until
it
you
moving.
find someone who's willing to talk.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes, yes. So, right before we end, I want to say yesterday we spoke a little bit about Big Mama.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. We're going to leave this evening and explain how we need to go back to Big Mama. Okay. Many of you know that I am a supporter and I also teach in the divine feminine as well as teaching about the return of the matriarch. Now, in that, I want to say that the matriarch in our homes were who? Lily,
Big mama.
Big Mama. And
Everybody
big,
had a big mama.
everybody had a Medea, but it was a Big Mama, a Grandma, G-Ma, Gigi. You know what I'm saying? Everyone,
Mimi.
and she was considered Big Mama, the matriarch, the
Yes.
wisdom keeper. She had
Yes.
all the wisdom keys. And I wanted us to go back into that just briefly so that people can understand how important it is for us to uphold these wisdom years.
Yes. What these transitional years are where Big Mama had already been. And in those years, she's lived enough, experienced enough that she can nurture, she can love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we had a conversation about the body and how the body was, big boobs, big breasts, big, everything was big and soft on Big Mama, right? And everybody wanted to put their head on Big
Yeah,
Mama.
yeah.
They just wanted to be with her.
Comfort.
The
It'll
kids,
be
little
comfort.
kids would be at her feet.
Mm.
You'd see the kids' mamas come in and they just want to put their head on mama. Why? Because of her wisdom, her nurturing, and her loving. And that is who we're becoming, my sisters who are 50 plus, 40 plus, 60 plus. We're becoming Big Mama. The cool thing is that most of us look pretty darn good, right?
Yes, we
Big
do.
Mama didn't care. Okay. Our society makes us care a little bit. Okay. But remember, it's the spirit, not the avatar, not the body, it's the spirit within. I absolutely love being a grandmother because my grandchildren keep coming back and I know why. They just want that nurturing,
Uh-huh.
that unconditional loving, that wisdom. We'll say to them one thing or another, but they may not follow it, but they've heard it.
Yes. We
You
planted.
know what we say. We
Mm.
be saying, I remember when Big Mama used to say, I remember when Mama used to say, I remember when, and sometimes we find ourselves saying what they used to say.
Yes.
That's the wisdom. So embrace these years. They are amazing. And some of the things that, come with them are truly, I don't give a anymore about pleasing or trying to be something for someone else. If you don't like me, it's your business.
It. That's it.
Not
Different
mine.
kind of acceptance. Different kind of acceptance, honey.
You just love you. We're not trying to, be part of the crowd. We're not trying to impress anybody. And that's whom all of us women have that opportunity to be. And look at yourself in the mirror and realize how beautiful you are. Realize what you have given, what you've gone through, and who you are today. And if you need reassurance, and you find that sister that's got your back. And nobody can have your back like a woman can when she loves you as
Oh.
a woman. She
Mm-mm.
got you. And I know all this kind of but all of us got that friend, that person that no
Yeah.
matter how we look, no matter what we're going through, they love us anyway. And you be that person for somebody. Then we can continue to grow into big mamas.
Even you little mamas, you big mama too, because big mama is the spirit of the
Not the
wisdom.
size.
Not the size, it's the
Not the
spirit of the
size.
wisdom. And that wisdom comes from experience. You said something key, Lee. You said forgiveness, forgiving, not not owning regret, but knowing that we've come through to a point that we are still here. We are here now. And we need to own all of it and find the joy in being here and just love each and every moment of these wisdom years. I want to thank you,
Yes.
Lillian Browning. Thank you for being my big sister. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for supporting me. And definitely thank you for the work that you do in serving women. And thank you for being my first guest on Feminine
I
Alchemy.
am honored. I am honored.
Yeah,
And ladies, listen to our goddess here. She shares her soul with us. And I don't say that lightly. She gives from the depth. And that's part of why I love her so much. But even more than love her, I absolutely respect her. So keep following,
I
keep
respect you
following,
too,
and get these
Queen, and thank
pearls.
you. How can they find you?
Finding me right now, I'm in New Mexico, but very shortly, I will be more available and it'll be on Facebook when I will be more available to talk about self-care, self-love. How do we take care of our bodies? What does that blood work we have say, really? So just kind of look out for me on Facebook. If you are attached to Miss Tracy, you'll be able to find me. Um, Otherwise, I'm Lillian Browning. My Facebook is public, so you can Google, or not Google,
No, if they Google
search.
you, you gonna come up. Yes, Google search,
Yeah,
honey. You gonna come up.
yeah, you can Google me.
Yes.
But do come. This is a work of love. As I said in the beginning, I made a promise to God. And just so you guys know, he didn't break his promise to me.
Mm,
So I continue on my journey. I didn't say anything about perfection, but it's all good.
mm. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you and we love you.
Love you
Yes.
too.
Hope to see you again back on Feminine Alchemy, the podcast.
Bye,
Yeah.
everyone. Much love.
Yes. 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 Okay. So, ladies, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to allow me to come before you and share in this journey of being seasoned and savvy in over 40. And join us again for another episode of Feminine Alchemy on Monday, April 1st at 7 p.m. for more pearls, gems, and jewels and wisdom. Mark your calendars and be sure to join us over at Feminine Alchemy, the podcast event page over on Facebook for exclusive updates and showtimes. Okay. YouTube community, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are watching live on YouTube, thank you. Be sure to subscribe. I am Tracy, the Sacred CEO. And if you are a woman over 40 and you would like to join a circle of women who are seasoned and savvy and 40 plus, you can join us over in our exclusive community on Facebook at Seasoned and Savvy Women Over 40. I appreciate you. Find me on all social media platforms at Tracy Bryant, Tracy, the Sacred